My next trick is not about motifs, but about repeats. So I actually did a recent YouTube tutorial on this concept, but I've since learned from comments and from playing around myself that there's an even easier way than I showed on my YouTube tutorial. So in case you didn't see that tutorial, check this out. I am not personally a huge fan of the pattern tool. It might be easier once you learn it, but it's not super intuitive and I always get caught up. So until about 6 months ago, the way that I made patterns was by selecting things that are on the edge. So this artboard is 9x9. So selecting things that are on the edge, pushing enter, push 9 for inches and vertical and copy. And then I would fill in these blanks. And then I would do the same thing for the vertical. All right, so I'm taking, and then whenever I made adjustments, again, enter this 0, 9, copy. And you know, you don't have to, you do it over and over again as you're like adjusting a pine cone here and there and just want to see how it works. So it can get kind of tedious. So I learned this great trick in which you go to preferences, general, and you change your keyboard increment to the size of your artboard. Now I want to make a note that I have since realized that the maximum you can add is 18 inches. So if you've got something bigger than 18 inches, do half of that size, okay? And I'll show you how to do that. But I'm right now at 9 inches. I'm going to say okay. And in my YouTube tutorial, I talked about, now I can select this stuff. I can say Control C for copy, Control F for front, which just pasted it all in the front, and then one arrow key, and it's all the way over here, and it's so easy. It's just 3 keystrokes, right? Well, someone commented that the way that they learned to make repeats was this way, except for they do it by just holding down Alt and pushing the arrow. So I've long known that if you hold down Alt, you can make a double of something, right? You probably have too. I'm holding down Alt right now, and you can see it's making multiples of these without copying. But I just never thought about it, and this is exactly, it was a new trick to me to do copy, paste, and then the arrow increment. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, of not knowing that there are easier ways until someone tells you, right? So I can select this, Alt, down, and that fills everything in. And then I can use extra pieces to fill all this in. You know, this isn't going to be a great repeat, but just to kind of show you that you can kind of fill all this stuff in. And then I can do it in reverse. I can select these things, Alt, arrow back, and there we go. So this is a much easier way to create a repeat. I'm going to show you how you can use this trick to create half drops, which are one of my favorite type of repeats. So if you're new to surface pattern, just a quick little lesson, a half drop is when the actual repeat is, for example, this red dotted line, but what you're doing is using the same things, the same kind of setup twice within that repeat. So this box is all one module, and then you're using the exact same thing here, and it's dropped by half so that it makes it look more interesting. You can kind of, you don't have to create more motifs, you don't have to fill up this whole rectangle, you can just fill up one square, but you're making it look a little bit more interesting than a simple square repeat. So to show you how to do that, I'm gonna move this up here in case we need to reference it. I'm gonna change my artboard to 9x18. Okay. I'll get rid of the background. And we have some extra stuff here. All right, so putting that over in the corner. Now, In order to make a half drop, this module would have to move 9 inches over because it's going halfway through 18, and it's going to have to go 4.5 inches down because that's the drop part, right? This is 9 inches tall, so 4.5 inches is the half drop. Okay, so it's moving over 9 but down 4.5. So what we're going to change our preferences to, our increment, we're going to change it to 4.5. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is hold down Alt and click the arrow once. Now that moved it over 4.5 inches, but it needs to move over 9 inches. So I let go of Alt because I don't want another copy. And while it's still selected, I push the arrow key again. So now this has moved over 9 inches. Now, again, do not hold the Alt key because you don't want a copy of this, but you click down once and you've got a half drop. Now, to do the second part of this, as you can see, we just did this box and this box, and now we need to do this box. We're going to take this, hold the Alt key, click 1, and that made it move up 4.5, but we needed to go up 9, so we're pushing the arrow one more time. So now we've got basically what we need. We can select this, hold Alt, push down once, let go of Alt, push down again, and this is the basic module. Now what we would do is fill in all these gaps, and then we'd repeat the process. So this is going to go over 18 inches. 1 is 4.5, 9, whatever the next thing is, and then 18 inches. Okay, I didn't do that math in advance, all right? That's ridiculous. So now I'm filling in all these little gaps, and basically if I just fill in right here and right here, in fact, I can just fill in this right here and that will copy to here, because as you can see, this is the same seam, basically. I'm going to fill in this area, and then that will copy to over here. But again, we're going to kind of do the half drop thing, because as you can see, this is the same as this. So if I put another pine cone here, let's say, just so we can see what we're doing, I'm going to make this an orange pine cone, and then I would say Alt, arrow, one more arrow without the Alt, and then up. And as I fill this whole area in, I would do the same thing and it can easily fill in this area. And it's a little bit of, arrow work, but it's a lot easier than taking this and saying Control, copy, enter, oops. This is showing a preview. Horizontal 9, vertical negative 4.5, copy. It will do the same thing, but you might have to type it in a lot of different times. So I think it's way easier with the arrow keys, and I'm so happy that not only did I learn this trick, but then I learned the Alt key version of it, which is even better.